You will have everything you need. These children will be cared for, and the universe will provide for you. God will provide for you, and all is well. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your girl, Dyme, and we back at it again. This is your first time here. Welcome. Come on in and grab a seat, okay? I am so happy to see you. I truly am. If you are already subscribed and you're a baby, you already know the vibes. You know how we give it up over here. Today, I want to talk to you guys about co-parenting because I did get a request to discuss that. And honestly, I'm no pro, okay? But what I can say is that I do have experience from the last 3 years, and I would like to just kind of make this video to encourage you and just share a couple tidbits that I feel could be useful to you if you are entering a co-parenting relationship and you have recently broken up, or if you are thinking about breaking up but you're not sure what the co-parenting piece would look like. Thus, you're still there. I don't want anybody to be trapped in anything that they don't want to be in simply because they want to provide for their children. I want you guys to be empowered and know that where there's a will, there's a way. And so, number one, when co-parenting, guys, I want to let you know nobody's situation is the same. I encourage you to have expectations that are neutral and just child-centered, not centered on you and what you deserve and what you lost and what you didn't get, but more so centered in on the child and the needs of the child, right? And sometimes those things will interlock. Sometimes those things will be, well, housing, resources, different things of that nature, because if you don't have it and you can't provide it, then the child subsequently won't have it either. Completely get it. But for the most part, in cases that are just overall day-to-day needs, how the child will get back and forth, how the child will eat, things of that nature, understand that the expectation from the other parent will not be to care for you. The expectation from the other parent will be to care for the child. Okay? So that's the number one thing. Also, I want to encourage you guys to check your vindictive feelings at the door. This is not a time to really vindicate yourself, right? Especially if you want help for your child. If you want the other parent to be involved in your child's life, because that is your child's life, you don't want to open up a door for co-parenting where you are going to be planning on vindicating yourself and the needs that you didn't get met in that moment. It's counterproductive in the regard that the other parent might be put off and opt not to deal with you, thus not deal with the child. And it sucks. It really does. To try to bottle up everything, especially when a lot of the time you break up with your partner, it's because they probably did something to you. Or you guys just couldn't see eye to eye. So why should you suffer as a result? But the thing is, if you're going to successfully co-parent, you have to go ahead and center the expectation on the child and not you. I would encourage you to go ahead and go get therapy. Reach out to resources to help you cope with that breakup or cope with failed expectations so that you can go ahead and center in on the child, because that will be the only thing that the other parent will honestly truly be expected to care about. In the court system, in the real world, they're not going to too much care about what you got going on, especially if you leave them, especially if they are not on good terms. Okay? Also, be understanding about the fact that you might have other friends, family members, sisters, cousins, aunties, uncles, whoever, who have a story about what you should be getting, how you should be getting it, what happened when they went through the process, what should be going on, and understand that your situation may look completely different because everybody's different. And maybe something that they got, you might not get. And maybe something that you got, they might not have had the opportunity to have. And so with that being said, go into it with a deep breath and understand that it's about the child and it's not about you, okay? This will curb a lot of arguments. Number two, establish an understanding with the other parent. Now, if you are planning on leaving, if you have already left, and you do have, best case scenario, another parent, the other parent is willing to communicate with you, I would say you guys have a good conversation. Get some things down on paper. Discuss who's going to care for what. Who's going to be responsible for what. expectations do each other have in terms of meeting each other halfway about this child? And now for some people that sounds like a dream, and for some people that sounds like a normalcy. Wherever you find yourself, try to have a conversation with the other parent. Let them know, hey, this didn't work out, and if it could work out, I would prefer for it too, but it didn't. And so now that we're here, how can we get an A on this group project? We're no longer going steady, but how can we collaborate together to get the best grade with this group project, which is our child? And come up with roles and what each other does. Are we going to be 3 days on, 3 days off? Are we going to be 1 week on, 1 week off? What works for your work schedule? What works for mine? How can we meet in the middle? And figure out how you guys can work together to care for this child, because that's the ultimate goal, right? That's the ultimate goal. When it comes to payments, who pays for what? Will you pay for school? Maybe I'll pay for this. Are you having a hard time? Maybe I can pick up the slack here, and then maybe on this day you can pay me back. If you are unable to do this, maybe the kid can stay with me. Maybe I can do this, because ultimately this is about the kid. Now, you will run into those instances where you will have the other parent who doesn't want to communicate at all. They will be very difficult. They will not want to talk to you. They will not want to communicate. They won't want to hear anything that you say, because maybe you guys broke up on bad terms. Maybe emotionally it is too hard to talk to you about something that is not about the relationship. In those cases, get something written down. Email them. Hey, I just wanted to reach out to you. I hope this email finds you well, and ask if we could have a conversation regarding our child. Our child needs XYZ. I would like to communicate with you regarding that. How can I assist you in caring for our child? And how can you pitch in so that our child feels loved and cared for? Our child loves you, needs you, you are appreciated. Please let me know earliest convenience. These were some of the things I'd like to discuss. Send me an email. It's a paper trail, number one, which proves you have reached out, you have tried to have the conversation in regards to benefiting your child, and that you're willing to be communicative. Number two, it also lets the other person know, I'm not here to argue, I'm not here to go back and forth about why I'm mad that you cheated on me and why I deserve $17 billion each month because you cheated on me. It is simply because I want to benefit my child, right? And number three, it helps establish a open line of communication. If the parent no longer wants to communicate after that, then that leads us to number three. Maybe it's time for a third party or a mediator to assist. And sometimes that can look like a family friend or a family member that can step in and kind of serve as the middle party. There were times in my co-parenting journey where the other parent was not very communicative or would not answer my calls or different things like that. And so when I needed something for my child, I was able to call in a family member to be able to mediate for us so that the question could be asked and answered and the information could be shared with me. Sometimes it's even easier to do a group chat. If you do a group chat with a mediator who is neutral, don't get your best friend to mediate if you know your best friend will instigate, be negative, add negativity, play the 50. You don't want that. You want somebody who is unbiased and genuinely cares for the child's well-being, so that you guys will have somebody to be able to filter information through so that you guys are not at each other's necks, right? You also have the option to get a court-appointed mediator. And yes, for those who are like, well, I don't want to deal with the courts, you don't necessarily have to file for child support or anything like that. You can go to utilize the resource for a mediator who can help you come up with a plan for how you guys are going to co-parent, who's responsible for what, you know, going back to number two, and who's going to pay what, and what days you want to see the child, and these things. And have it down on paper, written, and the obligation and the expectations are clear. Sometimes it is easier to have someone who is external from both of you all to be able to provide a even kill space so that you guys are able to discuss the child. When do you need a mediator? Well, that could be, in my experience, a few things. If they don't want to talk to you and just unwilling to talk to you, but you know that they're alive, well, and around. Number two, if they are willing to talk to you, but every time they talk to you, they're berating you with some type of information or being unkind to you, or if you guys are on a constant loop about the relationship and what failed. Example.
Ring, ring, ring. Hi, our child needs XYZ. Okay, why you ain't do it? Well, I was unable to do it at this time. Can you assist? No, I'm not helping you with nothing. If you needed help, you should have stayed home. Okay, thank you for your time. I'll send an email or a text message to follow up. Bye-bye.
When you are currently on a loop with re-looping the conversations about the relationship, what I found in my experience is that it's never productive. If you engage in those kind of conversations and you end up going on a loop about what happened in the relationship, what went wrong, who's to blame, you end up in a space where you are now raising the emotions. Now the wounds are being reopened. Now the triggers are being reopened. And now it's plausible somebody's gonna get mad. And what you called the other parent for, or your child's parent for, is probably not going to get resolved, because now they've taken you off course, or you've taken them off course due to trying to vindicate your emotions, talk something out about emotions, and now the child doesn't get what they need. The best part about conversations is keeping them as neutral as possible and child-centered as possible. When they start to go left and we start to talk about what happened in the relationship, that will probably be a time to go ahead and start looping in a mediator. And that is just from my experience, what I've learned. Have I ever always had a mediator or no one to loop one in? No. And that leads me to my last thing, number 4. Don't be hard on yourself. Sometimes you will find times where you've gotten emotional, you've raised your voice, you asked wrong, your emotions did not lead forth in the best way possible. Now the other parent seems as if, they're not going to collab or cooperate in the way that they need to. Give yourself grace. Understand that you will make mistakes because you are a person and they are also a person. So understand that they will make mistakes as well. The main thing is remembering that the child is the goal, okay? You want your child to feel loved and cared for. You don't ever want to feel like y'all so busy arguing with each other that the child is lost in the shuffle, because that ends up being a bigger problem, right? And so this is coming from somebody who was co-parented as a child. And so I am able to advocate for the children because I understand how it made me feel. But also as a parent, try to remain as cognizant as possible about knowing that I will make mistakes, but also remembering that my main goal is making sure that my child is cared for and loved, right? By both parents, when possible, because that's ideal. That's ideal. So extend grace to not only yourself but the other parent, but also make sure the expectations are clear of yourself and the other parent, to make sure that your conversations are centered around the child. And then when conversations do need to be had about personal emotions and trying to get things on the table or off the chest of one another, that you guys set aside private time for that or separate time for that. But it's what I found, it's very beneficial to separate your emotions from the needs of your child, so that your emotions are not being leveraged while you are trying to ask for things for your child or advocate for your child. And also your child is not being denied the things that they need due to the feelings or emotions of the other parent. So with all of that said, there are also further options that you can utilize: child support, governmental assistances, things of that nature. And I ask you guys to really just assess your own situations and do what is best for your own situations. In the event that you do opt in for child support or these different things, make sure that you are protecting yourself in the manner that you are making sure that you have any protections that you need if the other parent is unstable or unhappy about you placing them on child support, and just making sure that you realize that you will have everything you need. These children will be cared for, and the universe will provide for you, God will provide for you, and all is well. Okay, do not ever be afraid to go it alone, because the babies will be fine and you will be fine too, and you will figure it out. And so I hope that this video helps. If you are thinking about leaving, if you have already left and trying to establish some level of a co-parenting situation, if you would like a part 2 to this video, let me know. If you would like to request any other video, let me know. I love to bring you guys content that you can benefit from, that will help you thrive, and I look forward to bringing you a new video soon. So leave it in the comments. Have you been co-parented as a child? What was your experience like? Did you have both parents? And as a parent, how would you like to proceed with your co-parenting journey? And any tips you would like to leave for any moms or dads who are currently entering the co-parenting space? I look forward to seeing what you leave me in the comments. See you. Bye.